Fairy Tales by Terry Jones. The Wonderful Cake Horse. A man once made a cake shaped like a horse. That night a shooting star flew over the house, and a spark happened to fall on the cake horse. Well, the cake horse lay there for a few moments, then it gave a snort. Then it whined, scrambled to its legs, and shook its mane of white icing, and stood there in the moonlight, gazing around at the world. The man who was asleep in bed heard the noise and looked out of the window, and saw his cake horse running around the garden, bucking and snorting, just as if it had been a real wild horse. "Hey, cake horse!" cried the man. "What are you doing?" "Aren't I a fine horse?" cried the cake horse. "You can ride me if you like." But the man said, "You've got no horseshoes, and you've got no saddle, and you're only made of cake." The cake horse snorted and bucked and kicked the air and galloped across the garden and leapt clean over the gate and disappeared into the night. The next morning the cake horse arrived in the nearby town and went to the blacksmith and said, "Blacksmith, make me some good horseshoes, for my feet are only made of cake." But the blacksmith said, "How will you pay me?" And the cake horse answered, "If you make me some horseshoes, I'll be your friend." But the blacksmith shook his head. "I don't need friends like that," he said. So the cake horse galloped to the saddler and said, "Saddler, make me a saddle of the best leather, one that will go with my icing sugar mane." But the saddler said, "If I make you a saddle, how will you pay me?" "I'll be your friend," said the cake horse. "I don't need friends like that," said the saddler, and shook his head. The cake horse snorted and bucked and kicked its leg into the air and said, "Why doesn't anyone want to be my friend? I'll go and join the wild horses." And he galloped out of the town and off to the moors where the wild horses roamed. But when he saw the other wild horses, they were all so big and wild that he was afraid they would trample him to crumbs without even noticing he was there. Just then he came upon a mouse who was groaning to himself under a stone. "What's the matter with you?" asked the cake horse. "Oh," said the mouse, "I ran away from my home in the town and came up here where there is nothing to eat, and now I am dying of hunger and too weak to get back." The cake horse felt sorry for the mouse, so it said, "Here you are. You can nibble a bit of me if you like, for I'm made of cake." "That's most kind of you," said the mouse, and he ate a little of the cake horse's tail and a little of his icing sugar mane. "Now I feel much better." Then the cake horse said, "If only I had a saddle and some horseshoes, I could carry you back to town." "I'll make you them," said the mouse, and he made 4 little horseshoes out of acorn cups and a saddle of beetle shells, and it got up on the cake horse's back and rode him back to town, and there they remained the best of friends for the rest of their lives. The end. Thea loves you.